So, folks, welcome to Metal Wani and Metal Nation Radio. This is your host Vitek here with the genius Arjen Lucassen. How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine, especially after having been called a genius. I'm doing even better.
Fantastic. Just 2 weeks left for the release of the Gentle Storm's highly anticipated album, The Diary. I'm sure you must be excited as well as nervous for this album.
I always am. As I'm working on it, I think it's the best thing ever.
Hmm.
And then you're finished. Then you have to wait 3 months,
Right.
and then the self-confidence goes down.
Hmm.
It's just you get very nervous, like, oh my God, how could I ever release this shit? But the first signs are good. The journalists I've spoken to so far like it, and the first reviews are good. So I have good hope.
Awesome, awesome. Now, this was your intention of releasing the storm part separately and the gentle part, or was it something which just came naturally?
I think I was a bit confused after the last Arion album. I didn't know what to do next.
Hmm.
So I asked the fans on Facebook. It was like a multiple choice question.
Okay.
What would you like to hear from me next? And they had all these options like something heavy, something folky, something atmospheric, something what. And of course, most people wanted something heavy.
Uh-huh.
But there are also a lot of people, like 30%, who wanted something folky.
Hmm.
So I was thinking, okay, I love both. What should I do? Maybe combine it, heavy and folky, but there's a lot of bands doing that nowadays.
Right.
Then I thought, well, what if I do like the songs? I have like 10 songs,
Hmm.
and I do them in two completely different styles. I do them in a heavy style, like orchestral,
Right.
and soft style, like all folky with weird instruments.
Hmm.
And that was really a challenge. Could I do that? Could I make them both equally interesting? And
Right.
could I make them completely different from each other?
Absolutely, because this is like we always use the word epic, an epic double concept album where
Mm.
classic metal, it's more like a fusion of classic metal, and then you have the other side with the acoustic folk. So turning a regular concept into something which is, like you said, broken, the same songs are written into two different ways is something only very few people can do, and I don't recollect anybody doing that before. So
I don't know. I don't know if it's been done before. I hope not.
I don't think so, because when we look at the musical spectrum, the diverse musical spectrum, I've never come across any album where I've seen the songs being actually given two different faces.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, and also we were afraid that people would see the acoustic album as a bonus disc. Like, we made this album and here's a bonus disc with the songs acoustic.
Right.
So that's why we made the acoustic album CD1.
Yeah.
To just show people like, hey, it's two equally important albums.
Right. Differentiating the CDs.
Yes.
Absolutely. Now, you released The Storm and the Gentle Part of Endless Sea, and then you also released a music video as well, which is beautifully shot. So,
Hmm.
how have the fans responded to, these three separate tracks?
The End of Sea, it's amazing. The reception is it's over 100,000 views, and for a lyric video, that's amazing.
Sure.
But I have to say, it's beautiful. I was a bit skeptical about a music lyric video, because everyone is doing it, and I said, well, I want this, and I want it to be done completely in 17th century style.
Right.
And then the guy sent me the first minute, and I was like, oh my God, this is so gonna work.
Nice.
So yeah, the reaction to the lyric video were amazing. Then we thought for the second video, let's do something spontaneous. Let's do something funny, let's just show the band rocking out in the rehearsal room, and let's have Anneke in a 17th century dress
Right.
with a mobile phone walking through Amsterdam. And it was kind of to show people like, hey, we're not from the 17th century. We are people living in this century, and we're doing a concept which is set in the 17th century.
Right.
So we wanted to show that contrast between the two. I'm not sure if everyone understood that. There might be people saying like, "Hey, it's a bit weird," But yeah, we for the second video we just wanted to introduce the band and introduce the humor that's
Right.
also in us. And the third video, which is going to be a video for the song "Shores of India,"
Hmm.
is going to be released in 2 weeks, and that's like the big one, the big expensive clip that was made in
Awesome.
Serbia. So that's more a serious. That's a serious video.
Yeah, that's awesome because you have earned a name for yourself. I mean, after releasing the series of concept albums touching all the areas of music and emotions. I always wonder, how do you even come up with such concepts? I mean, there's something which goes beyond imagination and then makes something weird, and I'm like, holy shit! Now, how did this come up? How was Alien able to do that?
It's always the music first. Really, it's and all the music this time I composed as a classical piece. So all the songs were just double bass, cello, and violin. That's all I had.
Right.
And it sounded very cinematic, and it sounded very historical, and it sounded almost like Renaissance, Baroque, that kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah, automatically, you know, when you listen to that, you get these pictures of 17th century dresses and ships, you know, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the way it works for me. I never start with the concept, because then I limit myself. You know, I always start with the music, and then just let the story come to me by listening to the music.
Absolutely. Now, when we talk about the second CD, I mean, for you as a musician, I'm sure it must have been a cakewalk to actually have different instruments being played on the same songs for CD1 and CD2. So how difficult does it get in general for, let's say, a musician to basically have the same music, have the same lyrics, but it's just that the way instruments have changed, have actually played, you know, an important role?
I thought it would be difficult, but it wasn't. It was fun. You know, obviously the Storm album, the metal album, is easier for me. You know, I've
Right.
played metal since 1975. You know, I've
True.
been earlier, even 1971, since the days of Black Sabbath. You know, I've been into. So I that's in my blood. That's in my body. That's easy for me. You know, it's easy to impress people with um, big heavy music.
Right.
But it's much harder to impress people with something soft and acoustic. So that album was a bit more of a challenge, also because, like you said, it features many exotic acoustic instruments that I've never worked with before. But
Right.
it's, you know, the way I work is I just call these people up and just bring all your instruments and come here and let's play them here, and let me hear what it sounds like, and then I'll find a spot for them. And you know, it's very spontaneous, and
Awesome.
it all worked out fine. So
Yeah, there's that simplicity, and the beauty of this album is how everything is done without actually, you know, being too much for the fans to digest. It's got that basic level for an average, let's say, a progressive music listener to actually absorb these different elements. I mean, I don't recollect how many instruments you've used, but from the videos which you have released, I can see that you have used some unusual stuff, like, you know,
right.
yeah, some, you know, hammer delcomer, some banjos,
Yeah,
and it's quite exotic. So I mean,
yeah.
of course, you being called as a multi-instrument, but how do you even explore these different instruments when you come across it for the first time?
It's just, you know, I love it so much. People came here with instruments I never heard of. You know, like the surbahar or the chorale or the bull roarer or all these instruments. Yeah, just listening to them inspires me. You know,
Right.
just I love sounds. I love I really love sounds a lot. You know. Um, and then creating melodies with these beautiful sounds.
Right.
Like, I don't like the sound of a saxophone. I can't handle the sound of a saxophone, so I would never use it. It's just the sound of the instrument. It's the same with voices. I don't care if a singer is technically brilliant. You know, for me, it's always the sound of the voice that's important.
Right, absolutely. Now, with every studio clip you've released so far, is it more like fans should get an insight of how things are shaping up for this project, or maybe these clips are, let's say, to connect with the user before the storm actually begins?
Well, people love it. People always tell me we love the behind the scenes stuff, and we like to see, we have you know, a peek behind the scenes, see how it works in the studio, and see how you do that, and see what the people look like. I always love it with DVDs. You know, I always buy DVDs when there's a making of, and
Right.
you have interviews with the actors, you know,
Yeah.
and you see how they did certain special effects and stuff like that. That's always, I love stuff like that. So basically, that's what I do in music. You know, I love the stuff that I would like to hear myself, or that I would like to see myself.
Awesome, awesome. Now, coming back to the most important part of this album is Anneke. So
Yes.
how is it working with this majestic evergreen lady?
Easy. It's easy, easy. That's the key word.
Right.
It's easy because she, as a person, she's very easy. She's very optimistic. She's always happy. And as a singer, yeah, it's just scary, you know. She comes in the studio and she sings perfect, you know. It's perfectly in tune. Her timing is perfect. Her melodies are perfect. Um, it's just so easy, and still the emotion is there, you know. A lot of
Awesome.
singers have a lot of technique, but there's no emotion, and she has both of them, and she has the charisma live, and I just have positive words for her.
Awesome, awesome. I mean, like you've already worked with her on Into the Electric Castle as
Right.
and Zero One album as well. So must have been a cakewalk for you guys to explore because with the photographs that I've seen online with you wearing those geeky glasses and a pencil in your hand, I can clearly figure out that there was some brainstorming sessions going on there for lyrics.
Yeah, well, that was a bit of fun, of course, but
Of
but
course.
yeah, a lot of things have come spontaneously. Of course, there was a basis and there was lyrics, but you know, a lot of times we were like, no, let's do it like that. Let's change the lyric, or let's make a second harmony, or let's make a chorus choir here at the end.
Right.
And we deliberately only did 2 songs per session so that we would have enough time to work on each song. And that's very important for me. You know, there should be
Right.
spontaneous stuff because I think people will feel that.
Absolutely true. Now, talking about like how we know you as a control freak,
Hmm.
like the way you are. So was it a little difficult to work with Onik looking at, I mean, of course, this is a collaborative process,
Hmm.
but you being like a mastermind and you take care of things on your own, was there some sort of a minor clashes in opinions or something?
There was no clash in opinions, but it's still hard for me to work this way.
Okay.
She writes the lyrics. That's hard for me, you know.
Right.
Hard for me to have her write the lyrics.
Hmm.
So I had to stop myself from butting in too much.
Right.
I did butt in. I did tell her, what do you think about this song should be about that and that, or like this would be a cool title for that song, you know.
Yeah.
But she was okay with that, you know. If she agreed with me, she said, yeah, sure, let's do that. Let's. So there were no clashes at all between us. But yeah, letting some of the control go and to someone else is hard for me.
Hard for
It
you.
is. I have to admit. I have to admit.
I
But
can
then
understand.
again, you know, if someone does a good job, I can live with it.
Absolutely. Now the jazzy vocals on Heart of Amsterdam and I love the way you mix the Indian classical vibe with the Middle Eastern influences on Shores of India. Now
Yeah.
I being from India know how exactly you were able to fuse them out. So I don't know how many musicians have actually explored the classical side of India. So I was
Yeah.
wondering how you managed to get that information, or let's say how you managed to listen to that kind of a music.
Well, my interest started, of course, because of George Harrison in the Beatles. You know, of
Hmm.
his songs with the sitar. First in what was it, Norwegian Wood, I think, and
Hmm.
then of course Within You, Without You on the Sergeant Pepper album, and him talking about Ravi Shankar, you know, and that got me all into that music. I
Right.
love the sound of a sitar. I love all uh, these tones that they play, and I've always loved it, and I've used it a lot of times in the past. You know, these scales. It's great. So yeah, I've always loved that stuff. So that was easy for me. And also, I think I think Rainbow, like the song Gates of Babylon, you know, which also
Right.
has this sphere, was also a big inspiration for me for the song Shores of India.
Awesome. And the moment that soul smiling outro actually, I mean, to be honest, in the lowest of times, I mean, if I listen to this album, I come out, of the blue and kind of brings that small pieces of music, just brings that smile on the face.
Cool, cool. Yeah, it's funny because it's a really sad song, of course. It's the song where she tells him that she has like a terrible illness, and I actually cried when Anneke sang that song in the studio. You know, you
Wow.
have to imagine it's a sad song, it's sad lyrics, and you know, there 2 meters from me is my favorite singer in the world singing
Right.
that song. You know,
I can
so I had
understand.
like I had man tears. Anneke called it man tears.
And
Whoa, you
yes.
got man tears.
Awesome, awesome. awesome. Now you've done some acoustic shows with Anneke as well, and I'm sure you being on stage for a very long time. And I even saw the video on YouTube where you actually informed the crowd in the beginning that you're on stage after a long time and you didn't make
Yeah.
any mistakes. So
Yeah.
I remember, recalling that particular video. So you are taking this album on road, of course, with Anneke and the other guys. So any possibility of you actually playing some of these songs live with the band?
Well, I did this acoustic tour with Anneke, which was a big challenge for me, and
Right.
it was very, very scary, but I survived. But I'm not part of the band, so we put together like an amazing band with the top
Right.
musicians of Holland. A lot of guys who also play on the album, like Ed Warby, the drummer, and Joost.
Marcella is there.
Marcella is doing backing vocals.
Right.
Joost van
Johan on bass.
Johan is playing bass.
Right.
Joost van der Broek, of course, who I've been working with in Star 1 2, is playing keyboards. So yeah, it's an amazing band, and I will not be in the band because it's just not my way of life. I want
Right.
to just go back to my studio. But we got an amazing band together, and I will guest on the first show. In Amsterdam in 2 weeks, I will have a small guest appearance.
Awesome.
But
Awesome.
apart from that, they're on their own.
Fantastic. So the Human Equation will be on stage this September. How stoked are you for that?
That's a beautiful thing happening. I'm not actively involved in it, but I chose the singers and I advised them on things here and there. But no, yeah, it's coming to life. Something that I
Right.
made is coming to life, which is of course a dream come true.
Absolutely. So would you be sitting in the crowd and being like, someone who's just watching his own creation, or you just don't want to be around the venue and let the guys enjoy?
I will be there definitely. I'm not sure where I'm going to be, because if I'm going to be in the crowd, that there's the danger that people might
Right.
see me and not look at the stage. But I'll
You could
definitely
put an
be
epic
there.
beard on your face and cover it up.
Yeah, I'll put on a Groucho Marx
Right.
mask, with the glasses and stuff.
Awesome, Arjen. So before I conclude, any possibility of you coming up with an Arjen album in future? Because I know you take a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort. So something, already which is there circling around in your brain that yes, I may work on something different this time.
Well, even if I plan, I keep changing my mind, So I don't think the next album will be Arjen,
Okay.
because I always need a couple of side projects in between Arjen albums.
Right.
But I will definitely keep on doing Arions till I'm drop dead. That's my baby. And but yeah, after this I'll probably do another side project. And I would love to do a second album for the Gentle Storm, because it has become a band now. It's
Absolutely.
a new band.
Absolutely.
So the future is wide open.
Awesome. Stream of Passion new album maybe?
I'm not part of that, so
Okay.
they are on their own. But yeah, they just released a new album and they're doing great, which was the whole idea from the beginning.
Absolutely. Awesome. So before I conclude, how about you define The Diary, the Gentle Storm's highly anticipated album, in just one sentence?
It's a very adventurous album and very emotional.
Wow, adventurous yet emotional. So I can connect the emotional to the gentle side and adventurous maybe towards the storm side. Would that be right?
I don't think so. No, and I think the Gentle album is more adventurous because of the many different instruments.
Awesome.
And emotion is on both albums. So
Fantastic.
yeah.
Awesome, Arjen. Had an honor, always an honor having a chat with you.
Cool.
You spared some precious time with us today. Totally appreciate it.
Cool, man. It was my pleasure.